And you're watching Fam TV.
You're watching Fam TV.
You're watching Fam TV. You're watching Fam TV.
You tuned into what? Fam TV. Check it out.
My name is Osholene Oshobage, and I'm watching the Fam TV.
When I told him I have a solution, okay, to the African problem as a continent, right? My solution is that Africa as a whole must and should be united, okay? When I speak of unity, I mean under one government, one flag, and $1. Okay, this has never been happening in Africa. Okay, every other continent around the world is already unit. They're already a unit. Okay, take Canada for instance. All the provinces are united and become a country. All 52 states in America is already united and is a country. Okay, now Africa as a continent is divided by different countries with different flags. Okay, so now if these people wish to have a whole continent under $1, they must find a way and means of how to get rid of the flags, okay, without violence, okay, and have a full subconscious mentality of what the goal that you're trying to achieve. Am I making myself clear? Okay, now until Africa has attained that, wherein they have an imperial power to demand their respect and command, the people as a whole will never be respected. And this is why activities like that in Libya can happen.
Okay, so my question is, what you said was right on point, but what is the methodology, methods, how? Because you said,
okay,
get rid of the flags without violence. Right?
Yes.
Let's hear some ideas about methods, because what he said was a solution, but now we need a method of solution.
Okay.
Process, development. Go ahead.
Okay, now the process has to start from who's on the top, okay, which means
Politicians?
the politicians which controls each country, each individual country in the continent of Africa. They say they're UN, but I find that UN is not united, as they say, okay? The people which govern these countries have to sit in a room without bias and understand that their continent that they live on is not united, agree to disagree with any problems that they may have with each other, just to formulate a method wherein they could have one government control, one flag that represents the Africas, and $1 bill. And if a certain member cannot understand this, cannot come together with the other groups and make this happen, then that member should be removed. This is what I believe, because he's a part of the problem. He's not a solution.
Let me say a little something to that, because basically the way I see it is, what you're saying is Africa, the countries in Africa can become provinces, and Africa itself can become a country.
Correct.
All right. Now, in order to do things like that, right there alone, what Irritated Genie was speaking about today is evident. You have the integrationist versus the independents, right? It can't happen without blood, because this is just my opinion. Yeah. Because integrationists work with the enemy, it always ends up in blood. and it's always a retaliation, a reaction. So a revolution could be anything that sparks thoughts. You know what I'm saying? It could be anything that sparks a change. Okay, and counter-revolution is to snuff out that change. So the revolution could be non-violent. It could be spiritual. It could be musical. Anything like that. But the counter-revolution is always violent. You understand what I'm saying? So when it comes down to what like solutions like that, I don't see that happening without violence. Correct. Right? So, and that's another thing that I think deters us from doing a lot of things, because it's gonna cause bloodshed. We look at the, like, you know the future from looking at the past, right? And I think that goes along with saying that you judge someone's behavior from their past behavior. You know, people change, but I mean, the probabilities is more that they're gonna repeat patterns. Okay, so we know that, you know, the person who switches the trader always is embedded in the community first. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's no way of weeding out race traders. You know what I'm saying? There's no way, because if people become things. They start out one thing and they change their mind, or something happens. They get caught. Their family gets caught, and they're now ransomed. Now I have to do something. You feel me? So this is what I'm just. My point is that that's a great solution, but I feel like, especially being here in Toronto, practical things that we can do, because number one, we need money before we can even suggest nothing to them, because they have all the money. Nigerians are the most black billionaires in the world are from Nigeria, right? They're not going to be able to, they're not going to listen to us if we don't have any money, we don't have our stuff together. So I think part of my solution plan is having black people in North America. I think I heard this from somebody else too, but it's a great idea. Black people all choose a town, a city, and move there, make those conscious sacrifices to move to a town and take over that town. Vote in the judges, vote in the politicians, and create a safe, democratic environment.
So you see when you say to move in the town and take it over,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And this is why I need the leaders first to sit down and have a discussion, so that then they could go back to their people, explain to their people what the movement is all about before everyone can start getting ignorant and start a riot and a war over nothing. Okay? No. There is no country that is independent that only works off themselves only. They need to interact with other countries. All right? Because you're here on this plane wherein other nations also live upon.
Yep.
Okay? So you can't be an African nation so powerful and not interact with America at some point in time. Or you cannot interact with Korea at some point in time. You have to somehow interact with them.
Yep.
All right? You can't just be independent and solely independent. All right? So yes, you can be independent, but integration also will come into play at some point in time.
Yep.
You understand what I'm trying to say to you?
I mean, but we want to be able to control that integration. We don't want to, so basically the civil rights movement was about integration, right? And once you're integrated, you can't control anything, because now you're a part of the mass that they already control. Now you're being integrated. What integration means is we're bringing you into our thing. You can't come into our thing and do your thing. You understand? That's what integration is.
No, there's some people allow it.
Right?
So it's how far you allow it. You understand what I'm saying?
And when you can allow or not allow means you have to have power. And in this
Correct.
world, it's military power.
Correct.
It's
And
security forces, right? Yeah.
So as you can see, the black nation rarely have a military power. Okay? And that is one of their biggest problems, because they don't have military power. Okay? Say for instance, if Africa as a whole was united, which means every military that's within Africa right now at this moment would be serving under one government for that one purpose. So therefore, with that being said, there is no way a certain group from a certain race could go down in Libya and start slavery or a slave trade just at will. Because they would have to be answering to a lot of military and a lot of forces that's coming their way, right? Instead, no one is saying nothing, no one is doing anything about it. They went to Libya and do whatever they feel please.
Yes. You see, this also brings up a different aspect, because when you're talking about what's going on in Libya and what if, I think it brings about a bigger issue. When you're talking about a world issue, we're talking about a spirit. You know what I'm saying? We go now into the spiritual realm, and the spirit that we're talking about it is demonic, and there's good and evil, that
Mixes.
dichotomy, right? So now there's always a struggle. So now we have to be able to, another solution now is to be able to do battle on a spiritual plane, because they're destroying us psychologically with this white Jesus and the culture of church. Turn your other cheek, be satisfied with being poor. You know, this is a different type of war as opposed to the physical violence. This is a mental. This is now you have to fight with your moms and your grandmas and your uncles. These people who have seen way worse and things got a little bit better, and now they can pinpoint that when it got better for them was when they started going to church. They were saved. They felt better, but nothing changed.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But that also shows you the power of the human mind, right? We can.
Let me, if I may say something, right?
I know we're going on different topics right now, but that's how the world turns.
You could chop it up, could add it up together, whatever you want to do.
I like it raw, you know.
Right? No, when it comes to the whole spiritual education, okay, the people should know that spiritual power always control the physical realm.
Exactly.
Do you understand what I just said?
Yes, definitely.
Any man that you find with a spiritual power within him, he could control all his surroundings at will. Okay? And this is why they don't want to teach you the way of the spiritual power. Because the spiritual power will always control this realm that you live in. Okay? Because it's always mind over matter. And the matter is the material world that you live in. And the mind is not at work right now. Most people are still sleeping. It's not awake. No one is walking around with that true subconscious, that light within them where they could know and see and understand. You see what I'm saying to you? Therefore they walk around very like a blind man. You see what I'm saying? Trying to make decisions. So yes, if
blind leading the blind.
Blind leading the blind. So if the black man rises to a high level of spiritual power within his individual self, okay, they will be strong enough to overthrow anything.